Welcome to 10th Year Seniors. This is the follow-up, I guess you can call it a recap of the Battle for Atlantis. One of the biggest events we host here in the Bahamas, and I know it was a big event for us. One of the few chances we had an opportunity to really cover it as a team and cover all aspects of it. And so we'll just jump right into it. This one was of particular importance to the Bahamian crowd because we had two of our local guys in the tournament for the first time. Of course, we had Buddy Hield of the Oklahoma Sooners and Juana Bale of the UCLA Bruins. Yeah, like I said, we'll just jump into it. And what did you guys take away from? I guess we'll start with Buddy. He's the biggest name in the tournament. What was everybody's take on his performance? If you haven't watched Oklahoma play before, or if this was just your first time seeing him.
Way better than LeBron.
The homecoming was amazing.
Yeah, I think Buddy actually, to be serious for a moment, he played really well with a lot of pressure. He knew a lot of people were down here just to watch him play. I'm sure his teammates, everyone on the coaching staff knew this was a big moment for him. This was against some really elite competition. So for him to step up and have good games here that were nationally televised on ESPN against ranked opponents with scouts in the crowd, that did a lot for Buddy's stock. So, I mean, just me personally, my first time seeing him play in person, he was very aggressive with the ball, but at the same time, he knew when to turn it on and off and when to share the ball with his teammates. And, he showed a lot of maturity, if you ask me.
You remember this, nothing counts in November in college basketball. It's all about finding, gelling with your teammates, right, getting it going. But saying that the pressure on him, I think he took it really well because coming outside the press conference rooms, people were just flocking him, ambushing him. Hey, can I get a picture? Can I do this? Can I do that? And he took it with stride. He never was upset. He was talking to everyone, taking pictures with everyone. The most impressive thing was the Oklahoma fans there they just love Buddy. It's like, because he is their superstar. And that's what we need to realize. He is the best player on that team. He is one of the best players in that conference. So, I mean, it's a pretty big deal with Buddy.
And we have Tage is not in the studio, but he'll be joining us on the Skype line. Tage, what was your take on Buddy's performance and having a chance to see him play in person?
It was great having a chance to see him in person because he probably will be the next Bahamian to go to the NBA. I'm sure it's great for his family to be there too. Outside of the games, we saw a lot of what I would guess was his family, and it was pretty cool for him to come home too and share that experience with his teammates. I like his confidence. He started strong in the first couple of games, but I think in the last couple of games, he kind of when that offense stagnated, he kind of fell in love with the three instead of attacking and trying to use his athleticism to get to the rim and get to the foul line. Which I guess that was kind of disappointing because at that point he was averaging 25 a game. But it was cool. I like seeing him play. I like his energy. He was diving everywhere. He was playing defense. He reminded me of Troy Polamalu on defense where he just roamed. Even though they were in their zone, he kind of roamed to play free safety, and it's great to see him play with such enthusiasm. But I like the way he plays. I think he's going to be a good NBA player.
Yeah, I think he really played to the crowd. He was very cognizant of the fact that he had over 40 family members there, come from Freeport to watch him. So it was a big deal for him. He kept bringing that up in every press conference, how it was a special moment for him to be able to play in front of his family, because he hasn't played a meaningful basketball game here since he was in high school. So it was a big leap to go from that to playing an NCAA game here. And a lot of things you mentioned about his game were some of the critiques that people have been saying about him for the last few years. But I think he also showed the development he's made from a freshman to this point in the season, and that's why he's on the draft board for a lot of scouts, and a lot of teams are starting to look at him.
Now, on the next level, do you see Buddy as more of a true point guard or as a shooting guard, or maybe a shooting guard they're going to try to mold into a point guard because of his height and his ability to hit the outside shot? I
think he can be a two guard in the NBA. I mean, at 6'4", you have a lot of 6'4" shooting guards that play in the NBA. I don't think he has the ball handling skills to be a point guard. Maybe in another year or two he can develop to be a combo guard coming off the bench, but I think the way his game is tailored right now, especially being the number one option in this system, I see him being he can fit into a great 6-man role coming off the bench because, like Tay said, he has a lot of confidence, and that's what you need in somebody that can come off the bench and give you, instant offense. I think that's the kind of role we can look forward to seeing Buddy.
I don't think he could be an NBA first man. Like a first option in the NBA. I think
No.
I would like to see him go. He reminds me kind of like Jimmy Butler. I mean, in college he could be the first option, but he's not a good enough shot creator. Like he's not good enough at getting his own shot to be. Cause I mean he can't even go left, but I mean he could definitely knock down the shots. It'd be cool to see him play off a great point guard like a Derrick Rose, shot creator point guard. I could see him playing for the Bulls or the Spurs, where he gets, and I could see him being a great defender where he's all over the place playing defense, making hustle plays, running the break, and then he gets open shots out of the system and he knocks him down or he attacks in defense. But I don't know about like I said, I don't think he's a first option. He's definitely, but he's an NBA player for sure. Maybe if he works on his dribble creativity, he could definitely be a starting 2 guard. And he's a tall 6'4". Like I mean, because Koenig from Wisconsin was supposed to be 6'5", and Buddy seemed taller than him. Buddy seems about almost 6'6". So, but I mean, I think a 6-man, like a first man off the bench, is ambitious for him. I'd rather see him be like a starting shooting guard where he plays with a mix of good players, and you know what I mean, and he plays defense and just knocks down open shots.
You want him to go to the Spurs?
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Because there were times that I think even Lon Kruger pointed to that where he said their offense was just really stagnant, and Buddy kind of forced the issue a few times, and he said that in one of the press conferences as well in the interview that John did with him, that he felt that, he had to kind of force the issue a bit. So I think Lon Kruger took some of the responsibility for the way their offense was run and why guys kind of had to break away from what they were doing just to create some kind of spark. And that's what we saw happen against Wisconsin.
I think a lot of things he did too wasn't really his. It wasn't really his fault. Like if they had a credible point guard that could get him an open shot, that could create a shot for him. You know what I mean? Maybe and he did get overwhelming attention from the defense. They weren't helping off him at all too, so that was part of it. And the system did stagnate. Didn't have a constant moving offense like Wisconsin and Georgetown. So things would fall apart, and he'd just have to just take a shot. You know what I mean?
So,
but I don't think he'll have those problems in the NBA because like he won't be a first option in the NBA, but he will be an NBA player for sure. He's gonna be a good one too.
So we've seen Buddy probably at the peak of his college development. Obviously, he's gonna develop some more down the line when he makes the league. What did you think of Juana in this is his first year at UCLA? He played against Buddy in that very first game. In the minutes that he got. Sorry.
I think.
Well, you want me to redo it?
I've been seeing him play a lot. I wasn't at that first game. I saw him on TV. I like his athleticism and his scrappiness on the boards. He seems like a very fluid athlete. That's all I've really gathered from him. Like I said, I haven't really seen him play. I don't know what he could do offensively. He didn't seem to be eager to take a lot of shots. So I haven't seen him, but he looks tall. Like I know he's supposed to be 6'9". He looks like 6'11" almost. He looks very tall, very long, and athletic. And I mean, I just don't know if I don't know if he could shoot or if he could handle the ball or whatever either. So
I mean, in the press conference, the coach said that Warner is the type of guy who brings energy and gets rebounds and plays defense. So from the coach himself, it's like he's not looking at him as an offensive option. He's looking at him to be that energy guy.
To be disruption. You come in, you be athletic, jump up and down,
Like he's supposed, like his role, like if you had to compare him to an NBA player, is Joel Anthony.
Hey, all levels of basketball have that guy, even in street ball, who's just got to run it around and do hustle plays.
Yeah.
Everyone's not going to be the shooter on the team.
Exactly. And I think in about 8 or 9 minutes a game, we're just not going to get a big enough sample size to say what he can do. I know, based off of what happened last year, Steve Alford said Warner was going to be a bigger part of the rotation, which has been true in some respects, but it's still not enough. Well, at least for me, I think you guys are kind of saying the same thing. It wasn't enough for us to get a firm handle on what his game is. I still have no idea what his identity is as a basketball player.
He definitely, I don't know what he is, especially offensively too. Like, because I know people that knew him growing up, and he was described to me as like a big, like a big wing. You know what I mean? When he was growing up, like a point forward Tracy McGrady type.
Yeah, but there's no way that those people can be able to say what his game would be now from that point. I mean, he left here in
you know what I mean? At
eighth
high
grade.
school level,
Yeah.
that's one thing. But in the Pac-12, it's a different game. And then as he stays in school and matures his game, he's gonna be able to do different things too. So we don't know what he'll mature into, but he definitely has the athleticism and the size to be like a big NBA, like a power forward. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if he could shoot or not. You know, if he learns to shoot, then with that athleticism, it's hard not to see him, making a run for the NBA.
Mm-hmm. And like we talked about, it was a special edition of the Battle for Atlantis because we had two Bahamians playing, but I'd be interested to hear what you guys think about this. I think it was very disappointing the lack of Bahamian support you had in the crowd, especially during the first game when these two guys faced off against each other, when Oklahoma played UCLA. I thought we would have a whole lot more Bahamian support, and I was just really disappointed in that. I don't know if it's ticket prices, the time of the games, but I don't think Bahamians patronize this the way they should have.
That's the thing. You have to look at it. There's multiple things you look at. The time. It wasn't a good time for most people.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that they should have
people at
gone
work.
for the student body, maybe, like getting those students, those high school basketball teams, maybe.
Right.
Give a promotion to them saying, hey, let's take them out. Let them see
That
what
definitely should have been.
These are the kind
people-
of field
yeah.
trips they should be on. Yes.
And I think Atlantis also could learn with the promotion of saying, you know what, we got Bahamian players now. Let's push this to the schools. Let's push this to this so we can get those kids to see what you can be.
Especially during the daytime, and knowing that that which schools bring a large body of support with them. So you could almost dictate it around that maybe those schools play earlier in the day, but then again, that's also based on ranking and what game ESPN wants. But then, yeah, just high school promotions, because people are at work during that time. That it's a lot of reasons where daytime events in the Bahamas during the day, a lot of people are at work. They're unable to attend them. You don't see Bahamians on the beach at like 2:00 on a random Wednesday. So those are the kinds of things that has the lack of support. But like later on in the night, the 8:30 to 9:30 tip off. Those games were well attended, but I saw a lot of people I knew in the crowd. A lot of people were there. They showed up. Perhaps Buddy should have been playing at one of those times.
The older working crowd that we know, people
Right.
our age, like you're not going to see a young student go out there because of the next day. But yeah,
Also too, they in previous battles for Atlantis, they had Saturday games, and those tended to be full all day. They didn't have I don't know why. Maybe it was TV, or maybe the teams wanted to get out of there, but they definitely didn't have any Saturday games. So that probably contributed to it too, because I mean, I was used to seeing a lot of Bahamians too, and I don't even think they kind of pushed it. They didn't even the Atlantis people didn't pursue that angle either. They wanted it to be a TV event, and they wanted colleges to come down and watch. And they got a lot of people from Wisconsin and Georgetown, and even Butler brought a lot of people, but they
UNC.
didn't.
I mean, I think any coach
they really
over
didn't
here
spin
that
it locally that much as two Bahamians are coming to play. So I mean, of course, you know what I mean. People probably didn't know that much, and then they had it in the day during the week. Like people have to go to work.
I saw one school, like they brought like a contingency of like 30, 40 people.
Right.
And I saw the guy, I know he's a high school coach. Like only one coach did that.
I think every coach,
Should
any
do
PE
it.
teacher over here, if you have aspiring basketball players on your team, they should be able. You should have taken the initiative to bring them to that game to say, look, you can get from where you are now and you can get to this point. He's literally playing on the biggest stage in college basketball and playing well. And he grew up just like you guys did. He grew up playing at Jack Hayward. He played in all the same tournaments you did. I just think we missed a really good opportunity for that.
Because, I mean, Buddy and Juan are great examples, and the kids they do need to see something like that there is a basketball life after you're done playing in Hugh Campbell. And just to step off topic just for a little bit, awesome names, by the way.
Yeah.
Warner Bale, Buddy Hield. Can you get better names than that? Tum Tum, maybe.
Tum
I think
Tum.
people there really need to see just ball played at that level, like with that level of fundamentals. Because I mean, especially here where fundamentals aren't really a big thing. You know what I mean? People all the kids and people I know who play basketball tend to watch highlights, but they don't really watch the game itself. They don't really analyze it. So and it's great to expose people to that here. You know what I mean? Like like I wasn't really exposed to that kind of stuff until coaches from away came here, and then I played in Summer Thunder when I was on a junior national team and played against D1 schools, and you see what kind of things they were into. Because I mean, I remember they used to just come and beat up on us, and now we have teams routinely beating high Division I schools. So, and it's because of that exposure, and then you know what I mean. You go away, you guys go away, and they get coached up, but it has to start from somewhere. You know what I mean? That exposure to that level of basketball, and that's how we'll elevate. That's how kids there will elevate their games, by just looking at that and seeing stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, we do have a chance to get it right next year, because in the 2015 edition we will have 2 other Bahamians playing, but we'll talk more about that later. Bahamian business aside, what else did we take away from this tournament? I mean, Wisconsin came in as the favorite, the number 2 team in the nation, well, in the AP poll at least. And
I think.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. I mean, I think Georgetown is tough. I mean, we saw.
Thanks for skipping 2 of our bullet points, Tage.
Wasn't? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm kidding.
But no, I mean, Isaac Copeland and Paul White, those guys. I don't know what Copeland is, but I know White is a freshman, and then Smith Rivera, that guy was balling. I think it looks like they're trying to restock, because I mean, they had a couple down years since Hibbert left, but they look like a tough team to me. I don't know. You know, the Big East is.
They're bringing the old Big East basketball back. That's what Georgetown seems like they're doing.
Yeah, like they got the horses in the stable. They look like they're ready to go. Like they're gonna be on Sports Center.
How do we skip over the guys that won the tournament?
I just want to go back to Wisconsin for a second.
How did we skip over the guys that won?
I think Wisconsin, even early on in the season, this team has been together. They made a deep run last year. To me, they look great. They look tough. And Georgetown was a really good test for them, because you had to because you had to see them play a game where they didn't play that well, where Kaminsky struggled, but they were still able to pull out the win, and they have an extra gear. It almost looks like that they can go to, and they know where everyone's going to be on the floor at all times, and they're just really, really fundamentally sound. Tim Duncan would love this team.
Yeah, it's like they were one play away against Georgetown from not being in the finals. Mm-hmm. But they were able to get it done. Just the leadership they have on that team.
They have a nickname they call the Buzzcuts. A strong nickname.
Yeah, strong.
I started calling them the Peaky Blinders. If you watch your show, they all look like they're members of Peaky Blinders, except the black kids. They all really do.
I've got a couple episodes of the Peaky Blinders just now on the strength of Dakari talking about it.
Yes, you should. But
that's
why I'm here.
Yeah, Wisconsin looks really good against everybody else.
How many platoons do they have?
1 platoon. Call me when you get 2. I don't fear any.
Just so everyone has an idea, Ronaldo, he kind of likes Kentucky basketball. I don't know how much. But as Wisconsin was dribbling the ball up the court, he would yell out random Kentucky players' names.
They need to never forget. Never forget.
Andrew Harrison.
You didn't make the national championship game because of us.
But I don't think you want to give them that kind of fuel and that kind of motivation.
They can have it. 2 platoons.
I'm kind of concerned about Wisconsin, though. I mean, those guys could play, especially Koenig and
yeah, we got some guys that can play too.
And Dukan and Decker, like those guys can play, but
yeah, we got 10 guys that can play.
He had problems with Josh Smith.
Exactly.
That's kind of like. That's kind of telling.
They were exposed by
Josh Smith really bullied him around. But hold on, we can't have it both ways. We can't think that Georgetown is actually good and say that they exposed Wisconsin. It's either one. Georgetown is good.
Josh isn't on anybody's draft board. He's not the world. The thing is, he's a big body or whatever.
Right.
But, but how many people on Wisconsin are on draft boards? 3?
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Still, I'm just saying.
No, 3 first rounders.
That's a lot.
I don't think they'll get 3 first rounders.
They're getting 2 at least.
Kaminsky and Decker are definitely first rounders.
If he has problems with Josh Smith, you can imagine the kind of trouble he'll have with the bigs in Kentucky.
No, but I mean.
All the trouble.
But that's okay. Just to step away from Niall's homerism right now. Josh Smith is a big dude. Kaminsky in real life, in real NBA life, he's probably going to be a stretch 4. So he was bullying him around in that context, and Kaminsky was missing jumpers. He wasn't destroying him otherwise playing basketball. So in that one aspect of it, yes, but Kaminsky was still doing his job, boxing out, getting rebounds, getting kickouts. He just wasn't scoring, and it was his the one bad game he had for the entire tournament.
There were other things going on in that game too, but it looked like, there are times when Josh Smith was just going in his chest, you know what I mean?
one platoon.
So that's kind of telling. But that team is a great team, though. I'm not even gonna like, you know what I mean?
Only
I'm not
2
gonna,
first rounders.
They
That's
are,
just one aspect of a. That's one aspect of a game,
So-
and a lot of that game.
They
Do we
are-
think?
that's-
Do we think they go pillar to post as number 2? Like they take it all the way number 2? Because I feel like
No.
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 You think they're gonna drop or
Yeah.
yeah?
I think that you got to look at schools like Arizona.
well, we're gonna know by next week because they play against Duke next week, and like John was saying, Arizona has a really stacked squad. There are the 4 schools I think are separated from everybody else right now. Those 3 that you guys talked about that don't really matter that much, and Kentucky,
The 5 NBA draft picks.
2 platoons.
But I think
You only
I
need
think
5 players to
Wisconsin,
play
like,
basketball.
I
You
think-
aware of this?
It's better when you have 10.
It's better
can
when
see
you have
what
10 if you're at
Wisconsin-
Battle for Atlantis and have to play 3 games in a row, back to back to back.
Better when you have 10 all year. Ask a coach if you think that's a bad problem.
No,
to
I'm
have
not
too much
saying it's a
talent.
bad problem. You just keep. Ronaldo's yelling 2 platoons every time Kaminsky and Decker ran up the court. They're like, "Who is this crazy person?"
They need to know.
But so we think Georgetown made a lot of noise. But for me, I think it was Butler that
Of
I think
course.
Butler-
that
Butler
made
course he did.
Butler made the noise
Of
that
course
was.
he did.
I mean, Georgetown. I thought they were going to be good. Butler, I thought they could pull the upset of North Carolina, but getting that far, I didn't think so.
Here's why I think most people would disagree with you, though. Because Georgetown, like Kari was saying, they were 1 shot away from beating the number 2 team in the nation. So they showed the kind of potential that they could play with anybody and potentially beat them. I don't know if Butler made that kind of statement.
But what
despite
did
the
Butler
fact that
do
they
to
beat
Georgetown?
Yeah, they beat Georgetown. But it's different when you watch a team go against a team
Look,
that you think is one of the best in the
The
nation.
good thing is,
and show that they can beat them.
these are 2 Big East teams, so we're going to be able to see them play again 2 more times in the regular season to see
But I think
the progression of the teams.
The
Again,
question
this
is, would Butler be able to play Wisconsin like that? Would they be able to push Wisconsin like that?
and this was very early in the season, and when Copeland and White start to get more playing time, the offense starts to run through them more. That's when Georgetown looked their best, honestly. And even in the game that they lost to Butler, they lost because they stopped going to Copeland and White, who were.
I can tell you, there's no way that offense runs through anybody with Smith Rivera.
Yeah, I'm just saying though that it's like the offense slowed down and became stagnant because
Smith
those
Rivera-
guys were hitting shots and Butler, they were making runs on Butler, but then as soon as the ball stopped moving to them, that's when everything slowed down.
Smith Rivera,
Yeah, he's
11
not,
for 18 in
yeah,
the.
he's not exactly a distributing point
Yeah.
guard.
That Copeland is a good player though. I like the things like he was doing things on defense. He was rebounding and getting in the lanes, and then he could shoot. Like he catches the ball in rhythm and he could shoot. Like I think he's an NBA prospect.
That's
Isaac
probably why
Copeland,
that Spurs scout was there watching him, and then we had to bully him out the seat.
Bully.
Heat and
For
fire.
Rivera, that guy.
Never
That
forget.
guy. What about UNC? You guys watch any UNC? I didn't watch those guys.
Okay.
Oh, that
two
was
things. 2 things. You know why that was really great though? Because Tage actually, I don't think did watch UNC for any of the games he was there. 1, and then 2, we're covering the tournament, and he asked us, "Did you guys watch UNC?"
We kind of watched everybody.
Yes, we watched UNC.
No lie, we didn't watch UAB.
We were there for the UAB game.
Yeah, we were there for the one
Oh.
against you. Remember when they got beat by
Wisconsin.
28?
Yeah, we were there for that one.
Oh, okay.
I was
Well,
almost spot on.
Then we kind of watch UAB for.
Yeah,
a
we
little
kind
I didn't
of.
watch
That was
Bobby
awesome,
Jones.
Tage.
What?
Yeah, Sage, we did watch some North Carolina. It was only one of our favorite storylines of the entire tournament. The fact that they lost in the Bahamas again.
We wanted to see if they'll have a losing record in the Bahamas in 2014.
They came pretty close.
Yeah.
They came close, but then after
But
that,
then they rebound pretty well.
after that Butler loss, and then that made me think like, okay, yes, Butler and Georgetown are pretty good. They played 2 ranked teams really, really well. But
then they put it
after
on
that Butler
UCLA.
loss, North Carolina went to another level. They don't have 2 platoons, so let's get that out of the way first.
Yes.
So without 2 platoons, they were still able to have a point differential of almost 60 points in the next 2 games. They just crushed people. Roy Williams got in there and he
You
yelled
know
at
what
them.
happened?
More Justin Jackson. That's what happened.
I bet you KJ went in there and said, Roy, let me give them a talk.
I think it's possible.
That's what happened.
I mean, we know they didn't have to waste time studying, so they probably had more time to.
But KJ is their daddy, so I can see that.
Oh, cheap shot. I bet you didn't ask that in the press conference. So North Carolina, Justin Jackson, we saw Marcus Page, who looks really, really tiny. Like he's very, very thin. He has to put on some weight before he even really considers.
HGH.
Yeah, get some HGH, Marcus, before he even considers going
not
in the
to put
draft.
on any weight. Kennedy Meeks.
Kennedy Meeks has lost a ton of weight. He's the opposite of Josh Smith.
Yes.
He's a reverse him. He lost a ton of weight. He looks like he's in great shape. He is pushing people out the lane, getting rebounds. He's doing his job.
He needs better footwork though.
I still don't think Roy Williams did a good job of playing his best 5 on the floor in crucial minutes, because they may have won that first game if he played I think Kennedy Meeks, Bryce Johnson, Justin Jackson.
Justin Jackson. The more Justin Jackson, the better North Carolina plays. Continue with your wrong point.
Marcus Page and
Tokudo.
Tokudo. And this team needs another shooter, because anytime they needed an outside shot, it was 100% dependent on Marcus Page to get that 3-pointer, to get that deep jumper. They don't have the shooters like they had in the past.
It's funny because when Tokudo went there, he was supposed to he was an athletic lockdown guy, and he was supposed to be developing his outside game so he could contribute to the team, but he just never became that guy. Like, he never became shooter guy, and it's kind of sad. Justin Jackson is about to take his job because that guy is great.
Remember, it's early in the season, so even though they had those scrimmages here about figuring out what the team is, this North Carolina's still on that phase right now of we're going to figure out. By the time they get to ACC play, they will figure out who their lineup is and what rotation they're going to be going with.
Better figure out before you play us.
I think they'll figure it out. The number one thing about their lineup is Justin Jackson. Justin Jackson in the lineup. Marcus Page. Let's pass the ball a little bit more. Before we were actually talking about how Marcus Page needed to shoot more, and I think maybe he heard or maybe Roy wanted to try that out this tournament, because in that first game Marcus Page was chucking it and they were not going in. But some of the things, North Carolina looked like they had a good time down here for once. They won a bunch of They won some games, like I said, the 60-point differential in the next two. That made Carolina fans really happy. The Carolina players were on their Instagram game, though. Carolina and Wisconsin, they were up on it.
You know who else was on the Instagram game?
They had a lot of beach pictures in there. It's like, oh, look at these guys. Good job, North Carolina.
Like, you think they'd be used to it, right? No.
Nah.
You're never used to it if you don't live here. That's like when we go see snow. We ain't used to it.
Everyone's making snow angels.
I don't really like snow, so I mean...
You could have went with us on that one, Tage, but okay. But some of the other things we want to talk about, the amount of chips in the media room, just chips and snacks.
Did you realize that they waited to the last day to pull out the Doritos?
So they splurged the last day, is what you're saying?
Cereal bars and the Doritos.
I saw Funyuns on the last day. I felt that.
Debbie snacks.
Those things I had quite a bit of Funyuns.
John was all about that Funyun life. Just every time I turn around him, he's eating Funyuns.
Hey, I look at the car and I say, "Yeah, I like Funyuns."
I know Danny Ainge probably made like a complaint. He was like, "Yo, we need some better chips in here if I'm coming here every day." And like,
but
I think they had a strategy. I think the first day they were dedicated to giving us those original Ruffles or whatever,
and the Lay's,
and then the second day they upgraded to Doritos, and then third day, bam, they just came out with the Funyuns.
When you're at a basketball tournament, like for an entire day, and like I did as best I could not to eat the Ruffles, and then at some point I just broke down.
Everybody gave.
I just need something.
Nutty Buddy bars.
Jay Billis walked in there, as like begrudgingly took a chip and was like, all right, fine.
Yeah, you're there for too many
Seth
hours.
Davis, Andy Katz, everyone came in and attacked that cereal bar.
You had your Chewy bars. You had.
I think we need to talk about the MVP of the press room, Billy Donovan's dad.
Billy Donovan's dad. He totally had the biggest personality in the press
all of
room.
our grandfathers. He's our grandfather.
Always wearing the same Team
Billy
USA
Donovan's
vest.
He came in there in some gator shoes and a Team USA vest every day, and everybody kissed his ring.
And everybody was complimenting him on the shoes. I had to do a double take to see what these shoes were. I was like, is he wearing Jordans? What is everybody talking about?
But
how great are
the
these
thing
shoes?
I overheard them talking to Andy Katz, and they started talking about college football, about how, I hope Georgia beats Georgia Tech and Missouri do. And it's just like, this guy knows his stuff.
I was so afraid John was going to make a UCF.
Oh my god! I was
so
looking
scared.
at him like, please don't say anything. Please
I was waiting on him to go all UCF.
Let's talk about
us
John
just
ran
now.
at UCF. Like, hat to an event that UCF was not playing in or attending at all as our 10th year seniors photographer.
That's what he
John
does.
just on the side in that UCF hat repping all day.
John wears UCF stuff to everything though, so that's not even a
true.
It wasn't even out of the ordinary.
But UCF people run the event. So, yeah. What's up?
So UCF is the Illuminati?
Of that event, yes.
Of all Bahamian organized events, yeah, probably.
Yeah, because they're running the Bahamas Bowl, too.
It's true. Let's talk about some other things. They had, 10th year seniors. We were down on the baseline and we moved to half court. When we were down on the baseline, like I said, we had Danny Ainge. And then this is going to show like my naivety in college athletics, but there was a bald guy who everyone came up and kissed his ring. Ainge sat next to him, had like full-on conversation. I saw the refs come over and like explain some calls. Is that guy in the Illuminati?
Most likely.
I think he
I
is.
tried for 3 days
I
to
feel like
see
if
who
I
you
was
were
to learn his name, like I would be like I would know who he was if I just heard his name. But I
Probably, yeah.
don't.
Yeah, I tried for 3 days to see who you were talking about, and
We,
I still have no
we are
idea.
way too busy covering this tournament to be looking at other people.
Yeah,
It's
we
like-
were doing our own thing.
I mean, that was kind of a part of covering it.
Yeah, and I think that's 100% a part of coverage, John.
That was your job. You guys failed.
You know, it's open to interpretation, I guess.
I think you did a solid job, all in all.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining, Tage.
Yeah, way to pat yourself on the back there, buddy. But some of the other things that just to observe from the tournament, I always wanted to know how these events were run when there's a game coming in right after, and you have to shepherd people out and like get them out of the seats because there's another game coming. More people have to come in. I was like a aha moment for me because I'm not as well versed in college basketball as probably Dal and Tage are. So even just seeing that, some of those little small things, seeing how great the tournament was run, how well organized it was, they got people in and out there. Some of the other things I saw, the Butler fan base, great hecklers.
Yes.
Like some of the best.
Yeah.
So they had some awesome material. They told Josh Smith to eat a lot of salad. Like you should only be on a salad diet.
Yeah,
Every time they get to
really
the free throw line, they had something to say to someone.
Like those Butler fans hit up all the Atlantis slides, the casino. They went to every bar, and then they came to the game.
Yeah.
And then they were letting it in.
Yeah, I mean, because with a team like Butler, there's not as much pressure to come in and feel like you're gonna win this tournament. Like,
But Butler, their fans think they won the tournament when they beat UNC. That's the thing. They were just like
their
this,
fans are just insane. Then
no, but for real, no one
No,
thought
I get it. You
no one
beat
thought
the
they were going to
number
do it. They
5
beat the
ranked
number
team.
5 team. They're
Yes,
like,
I
hey,
get it.
this is the tournament. We've made it. We've done it.
Yeah.
Like we've pulled the upset. The rest of it's just gravy. Whatever happens.
They left their money where Nigel Hayes left his in the same room.
Yeah, you weren't in that press conference. Nigel Hayes apparently, there was a room with spinning lights that
Oh.
he lost his money.
right, that tends to
Lost
happen
money in
sometimes.
his-
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Oh, yeah.
You
Good
gotta-
job, Hayes.
You got to watch that press conference on our
Nigel
on our
Hayes is
YouTube channel.
hilarious, by the way. Wisconsin are the press conference MVPs
Yes,
of the tournament.
they
Those
are.
guys are hilarious.
They are most definitely.
Yeah.
Because they're so relaxed. I think Niall just likes that we like Wisconsin.
Yeah. No, the thing is,
He's
I
so
I
bad.
was in every single press conference recording, and they were always laughing, cracking jokes, and the coach is so laid back.
Laugh now, cry later.
You think
One
Bo
platoon.
Ryan, well, you never imagine Bo Ryan to be that laid back and that funny. But
Yeah.
those guys seem to have a great rapport with him, and they just let it fly and crack jokes
Yeah,
like
it'd be
the
funny.
whole time. Like they had
Same
a lot of fun in this tournament.
Saying Comedy Central, ain't nobody giving out no trophies for being funny. Make all the jokes you want.
Salty.
So laid back, so good.
Make all the
Press
jokes. You
conference.
want.
Badgers on Wisconsin. They had
Buzzcuts.
Buzzcuts on Wisconsin Net North. I think that was another thing that I saw. A Wisconsin fan had.
It's
on
with
their
the,
shirt.
and this is the first time that the highest ranked team has actually won this tournament. Every other year, it has been upsets. You had Harvard win one
These
year.
are some awesome.
Villanova
transfer
came in
Wisconsin. Yeah.
and won. They beat ranked opponents. This is the first year that you actually had the highest ranked team win. So this history,
This Wisconsin team,
Yeah.
making some noise.
making plenty noise.
Wisconsin, like, well,
They're number
Wisconsin
2
was
ranked team in the nation. How did they make noise by beating everyone they were supposed to beat?
And
What kind of noise?
that is how you successfully troll a Kentucky fan. You see how
Noise.
easy that was, everyone.
noise.
They're so much better than everybody else, though. Like, I mean, can we really say that? You know what I mean? That They made noise because they were head and shoulders above everybody else. What was the nearest ranked team? North Carolina? Or were they?
Oh yeah, we knew North Carolina was overranked from Summer Thunder.
Not a real 5 seed at all. And Florida came in at 7, also not a real 7.
Well, they came at 18.
No, they had a lot of injuries.
They came in at 7.
No, at 18 because they lost to Miami.
Dropped.
They're out the top 25.
Florida's all dinged up too. They got like 6 credible players. Like, I mean, come on.
Who else impressed you guys from the tournament just on like an individual player basis? Barlow, yeah.
Yeah. He was just like a pit bull player in there. He was just there to just hit.
He was bullying Tage for a while. Not Tage. Page for a while in that North Carolina game.
Although Barlow probably would bully Tage. So.
Yeah. My boy Jones. My boy MF Jones from Butler.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's
Bryce Alford is.
Bryce Alford was my guy. Like that again. The first time I saw Bryce Alford play, and I liked what he did with the ball. He didn't back down from any of the challenges he had. He took some difficult shots. Like he's been watching a lot of Steph Curry one-legged fading backward shots.
I'm upset.
I think Kevon Looney. For me, he was that guy. I think he's he's a legit NBA player, and I don't think he's just going to be a contributor either. I think he's going to be a very, very good NBA player. It's very rare that you see a freshman that has that kind of knack for rebounding, and he plays like an old guy.
So strong.
He plays like an old guy. When you're young and you play like an old guy, you set yourself up right away for a 13, 14-year career.
You know, I really liked I think I mentioned him earlier, but I really like Paul White from Georgetown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't know he was so polished. Like, I didn't think he was a freshman, but I mean, he could handle the ball. He could pass. He had a dribble pull up. He had a nice mid-range game. You know what I mean? He could shoot the 3. He could do everything, play inside, outside, and like I said, he's 6'8".
And he hit those clutch free throws against Wisconsin that actually put them in a position where they could tie that game. So that was pretty impressive. Yeah, he was impressive.
You know, like with guys like him and Copeland, like I don't know how I don't know what this Georgetown team is going to be like this year, but Georgetown guys tend to stay, so I think they're going to be pretty good soon.
They want that education.
I think John Thompson just intimidates them into.
Yeah, in that press conference, he was intimidating everyone, including the AP guy.
He didn't smile for this entire tournament.
No, he smiled the first day after the first win. Like he smiled like once or twice.
Okay.
And then after that, he was just in.
One of the things you mentioned is you can go 0-3 at this tournament and still be a good team just because of the kind of field it is and because you're playing on back-to-backs, and these kids, they may not be used to that, especially on such a high level. One of the things I observed from this tournament that I really loved is how ornery some of the players were. Like Cousins from Oklahoma was just angry the entire time, and every time someone did like bumped him a little bit, it looked like it was on the brink of him shutting down the entire gym in a full-out brawl.
That's not how everyone plays sports?
Oh. No.
It was Cousins, Trowick, 55 from Georgetown, two of the all-angry team. I need to like write something on an all-angry team.
You know what I was disappointed in, though? We didn't get to see Zach Hodgkins play.
Yeah, I mean, things weren't going that well for Florida.
I know, but I would have loved to have seen him on the floor. I mean...
We got a pretty good video of him in warm-ups, though, that people kind of eviscerated with the comments.
I don't know why Tage decided that was the video that he was going to get.
Good job by you, Tage.
Like, he got it, and then he was like, oh, I'm posting this.
He was so hot. Tage, how did you feel when you got that video?
10 cents.
You had to have been trying to get that for a minute, though. Okay.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Tage. Thanks, Tage.
There's one thing about the tournament it's something I wanted to see them do for the last few years, and apparently they kind of did this the next day. Nobody really knew about it. Well, I didn't know about it until I saw it on Facebook, but apparently the junior boys team from SAC, they played a team out of Canada on Saturday, the next day, and I always said that since there are so many scouts there's so many schools there, what they should do, they should have... You know, like how they have the McDonald's All-American game in the States. We should have that kind of game for our top high school, or it could be junior high, top junior high or high school athletes, just to get them to play on that stage, you know, because as much exposure as they could get, especially on their home floor, that would be awesome. So if it's not McDonald's, it should be somebody else. Maybe we have the Bamboo Shack All-Bahamian team come out there. Sounds good. It's food, like McDonald's. Maybe we have the Bamboo Shack All-Bahamian team play an exhibition game in front of these scouts.
I must say, one, that's brilliant.
Yes.
Why don't they already do that? And two, my second immediate thought after that's brilliant, yes, let's get that done for next year, is what would they name it? And Bamboo Shack, and I started going through a bunch of fast food places in my head.
Yeah, I mean,
Imperials, Shotters. We need to have like an 8-hour meeting just deciding this.
Yeah, it has to be ours. I think we gotta go Bamboo Shack. That was the
You have
biggest
to
one,
go
isn't
Bamboo
it?
Shack.
It's
Yeah.
the biggest one. I think it'll have to be. I mean, because McDonald's is like the most recognizable American
How many
fast food brand,
stale
so-
jokes you think Bahamians would make about them getting free chicken?
All of
Like,
them.
all
Oh
the
my
stale
God.
jokes. Like, yeah, but it writes itself. It has to be Bamboo Shack. Come on.
Oh my God.
We need a meeting with Bamboo Shack. We have to get this done.
Yeah, and Atlantis, if y'all need help deciding who should be in that game, just ask 10th year seniors. I think we could totally outfit that entire game for you guys.
Yeah.
Just let us handle
We
it.
can make it happen.
Just roll out the
Yeah.
ball. We'll do everything else.
Yeah, we got Tage back, so we could talk to Tage about his Instagram video.
Oh, we lost Sage for a minute. Tage, you back?
Oh, I'm back. It's great to be back.
Okay,
So excited.
When we lost you, I was asking the question, how great did you feel when you got that Instagram video with Zach Hodgkins bricking that 3 on the side of the backboard?
Come on, man. Nobody wins. The guy has one arm. Like, that wasn't the intent to have him.
That
freaking
was
a 3.
100% the intent.
Okay.
You know why? Because Instagram asks you 2 times if you're sure you want to do this.
Like, were you
so
sure?
you had 2 different options.
Hey, and just to say that right after Tage posted that, because I was sitting right next to Tage, the guy, he went to the corner and hit like 4 3-pointers in a row.
Yeah, here's the
so
thing.
like that's the one time that he missed his shot. He
and
hit
he
so
missed it
many
that badly.
3-pointers.
Yeah, he walked on at Florida. We know he can play. I mean, that's not the question. It's just funny. It's just funny the way he missed it, and people were so surprised when they looked at it again.
And it had to be the last thing
Right,
of the video.
that's what's so funny because he came after 2 guys
And they
went
missed
up.
it.
No, they made him, didn't they?
No, they
Uh,
missed. They missed in the video.
Are you
No.
sure?
Yes.
Anyways,
But then he was knocking him down from like dead on. Like he was knocking him down from.
no, we know he's a player, but it's just the circumstance of the video. It's like someone's like, you made them do that, so you could put that on. You were hoping that happened, so he could look bad. It's just like, no, we are fans of his.
No, man, I was pulling for that. I like that guy. I mean, like to be a D1 player, like in itself is just ridiculously tough. And like I've seen those guys interact with him off the court. Like he's not, you know what I mean? He's not a mascot. He's a legit teammate of theirs. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So-
he's a player. He's a D1 player at Florida. That's a school that's been to the NCAA tournament for like the last 150,000 years. I mean,
2-time national
I
champion.
know.
150,000 years, accurate.
Yeah.
So I can see people getting.
Do
a
they
wrong
have 2
idea about
platoons?
No.
No.
that picture,
They
but it's
barely
not-
have a
it's
starting
not
5.
even-
2 platoons. They barely have a starting 5.
They
Oh,
got half a platoon.
Another thing you missed, Tage, we talked about the Bamboo Shack All Bahamian idea, where it's kind of our version of the McDonald's All Americans, and we decided that they should play an exhibition All-Star game at any point during the Battle for Atlantis. Just seize the opportunity for those guys to be seen in front of all these scouts and all these schools.
You know, I was just talking to my friend Quentin Demerit. I think we wanted to do I wanted to do like a high school all-star game, but like after the season, and bring some scouts down. But that would be a great opportunity to do that too. I mean,
The scouts are already here.
Yeah, see, and that's why I think the Battle for Atlantis would be the perfect venue, because at any point in the year when you do it for something else, you're never going to have the kind of top flight exposure that you would have during the Battle for Atlantis. And I know it's before the season or right when the season starts, but the coaches and the media have to, I think it'd be in their best interest to get together and somehow figure out that team instead of waiting until
But
the
you
end
could
of the
find
season.
the junior players and then say, you could have like, how
do it from the end
you know
of the
how they
season
have like the
beforehand.
preseason All-American team.
Yeah.
You have your preseason All-Bahamian team, and then every so often, every 6 months maybe, you switch it up.
Haul out this Bamboo Shack.
Yeah.
This is an awesome idea.
It's a great
We
idea.
need to approach. We need to call Gandhi. You know Gandhi. You can call her, tell her, work it out.
Wall-to-wall coverage. We got that.
Yeah, and then they could put a banner on our page and write us a check too while they at it. Thanks.
So the
Tage, ladies and gentlemen, Tage.
so the 2014
business acumen.
Battle for Atlantis is in the books, so we look ahead right now to 2015, and coming next year we have Syracuse, Michigan, Texas, Gonzaga, Washington, Texas A&M, and Charlotte and UConn. And like I said earlier, we touched on it, but we didn't really get into it too much. We'll have 2 Bahamians playing next year. Shaquille Clare, who transferred from Maryland to Texas. He's going to start his career in Austin. And then we also have Tavario Miller with the Texas A&M Aggies. So like I said, the Bahamian public that didn't have a chance to come out and really support those guys like they should have, we have a chance to get it right again next year.
We have a chance to make it right.
Right. So let's look ahead to that field and what are some very, very, very early some of the things you guys are looking forward to for next year.
I'm looking forward for UConn because I don't think they're going to do too well this year, but I think next year they're going to be a contender.
Gosh.
I'm looking forward to anything involving Texas, and to have 2 Texas schools down here, I think is gonna be just really, really awesome.
Tage.
I think you want to be careful saying that UConn isn't going to be too good because you see how it worked out last year. But I just want to see
mute him.
Yeah. Wow, Tage.
Sorry, bro.
Now is so hurt, like his whole face.
Now, what are you looking forward for?
Now, what are you looking forward to?
I look forward to John completely rooting shamelessly for Gonzaga and saying how Gonzaga is the sleeper team to win this tournament. And just celebrating every Gonzaga shot. And after they win, coming up to us and say, "See, I told you."
See, he was so happy about Butler. I told you about Butler. I told you watch out for Butler.
All right, bring in Tage.
Tage, just say Shabazz Napier's name, please. Just right now. Just say it.
Shabazz Napier.
That's it for this podcast. The 2014 Battle for Atlantis is in the books.
He's shaking.
We had a blast. We look ahead to 2015. This is 10th year seniors signing out. Mutate.
Is anyone use Pinterest?
Shut up, Tage.
Stay woke.